Exporting media from Command Client. If your user account is granted the appropriate exporting rights, you can export archive video in a variety of formats, both locally or remotely, and can save snapshot images. These exported videos and images can then be saved for further review and shared with the appropriate parties for further investigation. The first form of media we can export are snapshots from a camera. The snapshots are a screen capture of an image in a video feed that can be saved. As a default, the date and time is superimposed on a snapshot. If you do not wish to have this timestamp superimposed onto your snapshots, that can be disabled by going into the main menu, clicking Preferences, and then under the Client Preferences tab, clicking to disable the timestamp on the snapshot. To take a snapshot, open up a camera. Snapshots can be taken of live video or archive video. In this case, I have my archive video, and it's paused at a scene I would like to save the snapshot of. You can either right-click on the video and click Take Snapshot, or below the timeline, click the Take Snapshot button. Doing either of these will open up a dialog box. Here, you can give the snapshot a name if you wish. Under the Content drop-down, you can select Current, which is the current view of the camera, so exactly the image you're looking at. You could also select Default, which would save the snapshot with the default zoom level of the camera, if there is one saved. You could also select Original, which is the full original image from the camera channel, no zoom or dewarping. If the camera has a text overlay configured, you can select whether to include that or not. Under the Destination section, you can choose the folder to save the snapshot. This can be either a local folder on the PC or a removable drive connected to the PC. You could also choose to save the snapshot to a case. We'll discuss cases more in another video. With all of those details and the location selected, click Save. The image is now saved to that location as a JPEG. If I open up that location, I can see the snapshot that I just saved. If I open up that image, I have some information about where it's from, and my time information is up above the image as opposed to superimposed on the image. Exporting archive video is done in a similar way. Locate the video you wish to export. You can manually select the video you wish to export by right-clicking on the timeline at the location to begin and clicking Start Selection. You can then drag the sliders around to adjust the selection of the video that will be exported. You can then right-click again and click Export, or click the Export Video button below the timeline. Doing either of these will open up an export dialog box. In this dialog box, you can further configure the start and end time of the video to be exported, and can see the total duration the video will be. When ready, click Next. Visualization mode is similar to what we saw when saving a snapshot. Current will save the video as it was when you were viewing the archive video, at the current zoom level. Default will save it with the default zoom level of the camera, if there is one saved. You could also select Original, which is the full original image from the camera channel, no zoom or dewarping. If the camera has a text overlay configured, you can select whether to include that or not. Under the Destination drop-down, you have a few choices. Local saves the exported video to the folder of your choice on your computer including a removable drive. If your computer has a CD or DVD drive available, which mine unfortunately does not, you can burn the exported video to an inserted CD or DVD. Select Case if you wish to save the video to a new or existing case file. Cases, which are only available for Command Enterprise, can collect multiple videos and snapshots in one file, and evidence can be built up over time. Cases will be covered in another video. Finally, if your selected video is from a supported device, you can choose to save the exported video to a remote USB drive inserted in that device. This would be useful in a situation where the CES is managed in a separate location from the recorder. So, for example, if there was an issue at one of the store locations, the evidence could be prepared and exported from the head office onto a USB drive plugged into the recorder at that store and handed over to local enforcement as evidence. Next, you can select the format for the exported video. If case or remote USB was selected as the destination, you don't have a choice in format. The video must be exported as a CME native. A Command Multimedia Evidence File, or CME, is a proprietary file format that can only be opened using the command player. This ensures that sensitive video evidence cannot be easily shared over the internet or posted for public viewing. So if case or remote USB was selected as the destination, there is nothing left to configure, and you can click Export to continue. If you're exporting to a remote USB drive that's plugged into a recording device, then the selected video will be moved to the Device Export queue, which is found under the Evidence tab. A tab will also open up with the export queue for that recording device. In that tab, you'll find a list of all the videos you've selected to be exported, as well as information about the selected video clip. Below that, you can find the state of the evidence. So the evidence in the queue is ready to be exported. You'll also see the status of the external media. So here we can see that there is a USB drive plugged into this recorder, and we can see the amount of space available to us on that drive. If the recording device doesn't have a USB drive inserted, then the external media column will show there is no drive present, and you won't be able to start the export until one is detected. If you're worried about storage space, you can select to erase the USB drive before copy. Finally, you can select to include the command player. As the command player is required to open CME files, it's a good idea to include this in the export. When you're ready, select the videos from the list you wish to export to the remote USB device, and click Start Export. If you selected local or CD/DVD drive, you can choose your file format from CME native, CME encrypted, which is the same as native but requires a password, which is configured here, or MP4. If you select MP4, you can then configure the form factor, bitrate, and resolution, and choose to downscale a video to full HD if its resolution is higher. You can also choose to split a video file up into multiple video files if it's too large. If you choose either of the CME options, you can also choose to split the file up. You then have the option to include the command player. As the command player is required to open CME files, if you know that the location receiving these files doesn't have a copy, you can include it in the export. When all configurations have been made, click Export. Now in the Export tab of the dashboard, you will see the file I've selected to export and the status of that export. Finally, You can export videos in a view as well. The process is mostly the same. Open up your view and select the video you wish to export. You can choose to export as a view, which will include all of the cameras from that view. Or you can select to export as separate video channels. Doing this allows you to select the cameras you want to export video from. It could be all of them, a few of them, or just one. This will then export archive video for each of the selected cameras for that same time frame selected. The rest of the export process is the same as shown previously.